This is Chicago's Morning Answer.
That's enough. Put down the mic.
On AM 560, The Answer.
Bruce Wolf and Carol Roth in for Dan and Amy. And Carol's so sweet. She was asking me off the air. We're going to have LaShawn Ford, one of the candidates for mayor, on. And she said, is it appropriate at the end of the interview if I wish him good luck? And I said to her, Carol, this is talk radio. If we say anything this side of libel, we're okay. All right?
Don't want to run afoul of any political faux pas.
There's
here.
ethics in talk radio. Let's go to LaShawn Ford. Good morning. How are you today?
Good morning. I'm doing fine, and I really, really appreciate the airtime.
Well, absolutely. We know because it's a crowded field. You're the state representative from the 8th District. You are a candidate for Chicago mayor, and I believe there are 14 candidates, so it's tough to get invited to these panels. And I've got to tell you, Mr. Ford, you're the only one on the panel right now, so you may live to regret it, but welcome to the show.
I'm not going to regret it. I think that I heard that you guys talk about ethics in the radio, so that's perfect.
Right, and you know that ethics is beyond anybody who is involved in state government or local government. So let me ask you this though. I mean, to me, and you're talking essentially to a conservative audience. I don't see the appeal of any of the candidates, maybe except for Bill Daley, who wants to allow school choice. And I can't stand the Daleys. I mean, I can't stand them all. I mean, Richie Daley flunked the bar exam 3 times, then he becomes state's attorney. I passed it the first time. I couldn't even get a job at the state's attorney's office. Where's the fairness in that? But what do you have to say that could possibly resonate with conservative listeners?
I mean, I would say just look at the record. I've led the charge in making sure that scholarships went to families so that they can have choice to go to schools that met their children's needs. Daley speaks about what he would stand for, but I doubt it. I think that he's all about destroying the Chicago public schools with what you call charter schools. You know, that's what Daley is about. He's about business. He doesn't care about children. I have a track record that proves that I stand up for children having the ability to go to schools that meet their needs.
So, LaShawn, a couple of questions for you. Obviously, this has been kind of a mess from a voter's perspective. I think a lot of the media hasn't handled some of the debates very well. They've split you up into groups. As a participant, how has the process been from your standpoint?
Just like you said, they haven't handled it well. They've given us the opportunity, but it hasn't been debates. You know, what we've had are forums where you have 1 minute to answer, sometimes what they call fire rounds. And
I'm sorry, LaShawn, your time is up on that question, but let's go to another one. No, go ahead.
Yeah, that's exactly the way it goes. And it's been unfair and it's been unfortunate because you have someone like Daley with all the money. He doesn't show up at the forums. You know, can't be mad at him. He's knowing what he wants to do for his campaign. But people that like John Kozlar and myself and other candidates in the race, we show up for these forums because we want to meet the people and get our message out.
So how do you think you're differentiated then from this crazy panel? What is the point of differentiation that makes you the best candidate for mayor? Well,
one, I wasn't put up by the business community to run for mayor to protect the interests of the business community. I was put up by a grassroots organization because of my track record in standing up for working families in Illinois. And that goes to the point of making sure children have education that meets their needs, whether it's school choice or not. I've fought to make sure that we protect businesses. I'm the author of the bill to lower the LLC fees for businesses in the state of Illinois. I mean, that's a big deal. And I think small businesses appreciate it. I've worked with the business community on ways to make sure that their business employees could use health insurance for substance use disorder. I mean, my track record proves that I understand how to deal with across the aisle with Republicans and Democrats to get things done.
All right, let me ask you this, because this is a litmus test for me. I mean, I don't know nothing about all these economics things. All I know is about popular culture. How soon did you doubt Jussie Smollett's story? How quickly? I'm going to ask that of all the candidates.
I doubted it. I always give people, my mother always said, you give people the rope to hang themselves. So.
Wow, no pun intended.
Wow. And you know what, LaShawn? You're the only one who can get away with saying that joke. You understand that? We couldn't say that joke. But go ahead.
Right. And so what I was thinking was, this has to play out. And I still think that in the criminal, in our justice system, we have to let it play out. And he should have his day in court. But I did question because the scar was so small and he was by himself. I just couldn't understand how one person could just get a strategic scar under their eye.
All right, so
it made me wonder.
So moving us to Smollett, back to Chicago, let me ask you a very honest question here. Can Chicago be saved financially? And obviously you're an Illinois representative, can Illinois be saved financially?
I think it has to be, and I do believe that Illinois and Chicago together we have to work together to fix the pension crisis, and that's one of the, I think, defining points for me is that I have the experience of working with people in Springfield. It's not easy, but there's not one candidate in this race that's passed bills like me and have the ability to work with Republicans and Democrats to pass a pension reform package to protect taxpayer dollars.
Do you favor an amendment to the Constitution on pensions?
Absolutely not. We can't. You can't. I mean, it's unconstitutional. Now, I mean, why would I favor something that was voted on and the Supreme Court ruled that you can't do it?
Well, then that's why we need an amendment. We need an amendment to the Constitution, don't we?
We can amend it. We don't have to amend it to diminish pensioners, but what we can do is make sure that we reduce the pension benefits for new hires, take away the COLAs from new hires. The COLAs are killing people. Take away the golden parachutes, but
sure.
You cannot take and diminish senior citizens' pension that they were promised. It's just not right. I mean, why don't we find the money from rich people and have them pay their fair share? And I know this is a conservative radio station, but I think
you had me up until the fair share.
But this is what I want to tell you. This is why we have to come together as conservatives and Democrats to find out if we're doing the right thing.
All right, let me ask you this. This is a litmus test question. I mean, Governor Pritzker wants to tax his way out of this problem, and he thinks that he's going to tax millionaires, and all that's going to do is going to chase millionaires like Carol away from Streeterville. It doesn't work. Taxing millionaires is the gateway to taxing the middle class to the extent you even have one left in the city of Chicago. How do you feel about that from Governor Pritzker?
Well, Governor Pritzker is talking about making sure that there's a fair tax in Illinois. And that means that we're no longer going to have a flat tax in the state. That's going to help Chicago.
Does that require that you raise the top end, or does that mean that you just make it more progressive down the line? Because that's the big issue. I mean, right? The big issue is that you've got people who are fleeing the state, who are fleeing the city because the taxes keep going up, the property taxes are going up, and the government spending is out of control, and we don't get great services in return. And so are you going to raise the top end of that?
And what's most important about the Governor Pritzker and even many conservatives' beliefs about the flat tax that we have is that we need a question on the ballot to ask the voters whether or not a flat tax or a progressive or a fair tax is something that we need. Regardless to whatever J.B. Pritzker wants, it has to go to the people, and the people have to decide whether or not we should change our tax code.
People always want to spend other people's money.
Sure. Well, because we should spend your money because you're one of the gifted children. Where did you go to? New Trier? Did you go to New Trier? Oh, Deerfield.
Deerfield.
Oh, come on. She's she's an elitist, LaShawn. I went to Niles East in Skokie, and I dreamed of living in Deerfield.
Well, I went to Niles College Seminary for a year.
All right, I'll see that. I was born on the west side of Chicago. We left in '54. Okay, all right.
So, I did. I went to Niles College Seminary for a year, right there by where close to where you live.
Yeah.
It was Harlem and Toohey.
Oh, no, Harlem and Toohey is in Niles. Yeah,
That's
all
what
right.
I said, Niles.
Yeah, you just blur. Yeah, Deerfield and Skokie and everything, they're all the same to you. Right, yeah, okay, I get it.
Didn't you say you went to Niles?
I went to Niles East in
Niles
Skokie.
East, okay.
Yeah, right.
All right.
Yeah, that's okay.
How many black people did you guys have in Niles?
I had one friend who was black once in my life.
We had 3 at Deerfield.
All right, I wouldn't really call her a friend. Okay, she was an acquaintance. Mr. Ford.
Well, I'll be your friend.
Well, thank you so much. When I'm being perp walked out of Cook County Jail, can you lead interference for me like that guy did for Jussie Smollett yesterday? I think it was like Bobby Massey.
I'm not big enough.
Yeah, I think that was Bobby Massey of the Bears who did that. Thank you, Mr. Ford. Good luck to you.
Yes.
Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, LaShawn.
All right, there we go. LaShawn Ford. Yeah, and it's okay to say good luck.
I know it's nice. It's nice. It's good, obviously out there trying to do something in a really difficult
and he'll
thing
talk
to do.
to us.
Exactly.
Bill Daley won't come on the show. Why does
And
baloney
he'll engage.
Why does baloney reject the grinder? As William F. Buckley said about Bobby Kennedy when he refused to appear on Firing Line. Bruce Wolf and Carol Roth in for Dan and Amy on AM